Hey, what's up? Welcome to today's video. So what we're gonna do today is that we're gonna make some healthy oatmeal chocolate chip walnut cookies. All my ingredients are completely natural, except the chocolate chips. Everything else is walnuts and maple syrup and applesauce and eggs and a little bit of butter. But the chocolate chips are definitely not natural. I don't know if you can make chocolate chip cookies that are completely natural because you would have to go to Africa and get the cocoa beans to then forget it. Anyway, I think that's self-explanatory. Where the hell is my drink? Okay, so first what we do is we show you all the ingredients. So what we do is we put all the wet ingredients in first. So we do our butter, which is nice and soft. You really don't want to have to put it in the microwave because if it's not soft like this, it's not going to help the cookies stick together because there's no oil in these cookies. And there's only 3 tablespoons of butter and it's vegan. So most cookie recipes call for a stick to a stick and a half of butter, which is ridiculous. I mean, that's like a crazy amount of butter. So then put the bananas in. This is one full banana. Oopsie. A little loud. And then I take one little thing. I like the applesauce that has cinnamon in it. I just think it tastes better. And I also do put cinnamon in the cookies, but if it's too much cinnamon for you, some people don't like cinnamon that much, but it's an anti-inflammatory, so there's no reason not to put it in, right? Don't get bloated. So I put 1 little cup in. And then I got 1 egg. I got 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Then I'm gonna do the salt and the cinnamon. I like extra cinnamon if you don't like it. So everything's pretty much a teaspoon. A teaspoon of salt, and then a teaspoon of cinnamon. And then I'm gonna do 1/3 of a cup of maple syrup. I get this maple syrup at Costco. It's organic and it's grade A. I grew up in Vermont, so I'm kind of a maple syrup connoisseur. And I love maple syrup. I don't eat a lot of pancakes, but I do put it in my coffee. I put a tablespoon of it in my coffee. So a tablespoon of maple syrup is about 25 calories, but it really pumps up the flavor of your coffee. And then I just do, I do like 4 to 5 squirts of stevia. So I do, I try to get it filled up pretty good. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna do 5 good ones. 5. Okay, and the only other thing I have to do for the wet ingredients is the vanilla. So it's a teaspoon of vanilla. So then we're gonna add 1/3 of a cup of honey, which is medicinal, especially the wild desert honey that we get here in Arizona. So we're gonna stir all the wet ingredients gently. It's kind of hard to get the butter all broken up, but it kind of looks a little bit clumpy, but it's fine once you get the oats and the nuts and everything in there and the unnatural chocolate chips. Okay, so now we're ready to pour the oats in. 3 cups of oats. And sometimes you can put just a little bit more. This is gonna make like 12, at least 12, sometimes 13 cookies, depending on how big the cookies are, but typically I take a scoop like this and out of it. So it does make a lot of cookies. And this does look very wet. It almost looks like I could use a little bit more oats because it's kind of almost a little too wet. But let's put the nuts in. And I'll put the chocolate chips in. So this is a 1/2 cup of chocolate chips and a 1/2 cup of walnuts. I love walnuts. You can do macadamia nuts. You could do, you know what are good too is hazelnuts. I did it with hazelnuts one time and that was pretty good. Okay, so I'm getting to the point where I can't really stir it with this. So I'm gonna take my big spoon here. And you know what? I think I am gonna add a little bit more oats because it's a little bit too wet, and I can tell. Sometimes if it's too wet, it kind of leaks out into the pan and then they stick and you can't get them off the pan even though you spray the pan. So I'm gonna do that. Okay, so I added another half a cup of oats. So you can do it, you know, with or without the banana. I like the banana because it makes it stick together better. But if you do no banana, what you can do is add another half a cup of the applesauce, or you can put the whole cup in and just see how it works. So they're all ready to be put on the pan. But this looks pretty yummy, right? So the cookie batter is actually really good, kind of by itself. Chewy. A little too chewy. But it's not bad because once it sits for a minute, and you can let it sit and then spray your pans, then it'll kind of hold together a little bit better. Because remember, there's no flour. When there's no flour in something, it's hard to get it to stick together. So this is the unique thing about my cookies. So then what I do is I take this large spoon and I just start spooning it onto my grandma pan. It was here when I moved in, so I didn't really have any pans of my own, so you're just gonna have to deal with it. So I just take this and I kind of, it's wet, you know, it's not like it's gonna be dry cookie dough, because otherwise it wouldn't stick together. Come on, you little slippery sucker. Stay in there. Okay, so you take it and you kind of just push it down. Good cookie. And then I put it on the pan. And it is hard because, I mean, they're not gonna stick together like regular cookies do. I mean, you're gonna have to work at this. You can get an arm workout while you're doing it. So I put the cookies in the oven. I put them on 350 for about 14 minutes. If you want them a little crispier, you can put them in for just like 2 more minutes, but I wouldn't do much more than 16 minutes because they get a little burnt on the top. I wanted to go over the calories and the fat and the carbs and the protein because it's really, really great. So typically it makes 12 cookies and there's about 241 calories per cookie, which is super low for a cookie. And then the fat is only 7.5, which is really low because I'm not using very much butter. I'm only using like 3 tablespoons of butter, which most cookie recipes call for, you know, a stick to a stick and a half of butter. And then the carbs are 38 grams, which is really also pretty low. And then the protein is 4.5 grams. So it does have 4.5 grams of protein, so that's great. So there you have it. Eat them at your leisure. Just don't eat too many. Really your limit should be 2 because then you're getting into something you shouldn't be getting into. But since we're all at home and we're probably eating more, I know I am. I don't feel quite as lean as I normally do. I have been working out. Luckily, I have access to weights. Oh, they're done. And but a lot of people don't have access to weights, and I'm totally a weightlifter. I love to lift weights and I love to do cardio, but I don't really do that much cardio. But I have been out on lots of walks with my daughter and playing a lot of badminton and trying to do fun things. But I'm not getting the hardcore exercise that I'm normally getting. So since all the gyms are closed, I mean, all the gyms are closed. I mean, it's the craziest, this is the craziest thing. I never ever thought that, I never even thought that this could happen. So anyway, so I'm gonna get the cookies out and then I'll show you the finished product. So here's the finished product. It's a good sized cookie. It does kind of break up a little bit sometimes when you try to get it off the pan. Well, who cares, you're gonna break it up anyway, right? But a good tip too is if you put it in a Tupperware or a plastic bag, the next day, if you heat it up a little bit in the microwave for like 15 seconds, it's way better, I think. I like to heat it up for just a little bit before I eat it because it makes the chocolate chips all kind of soft and yummy. But if you like this video, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and I'm gonna have a lot more videos about fitness, nutrition, skincare, beauty, all over anti-aging, health and wellness. So come back and see me. I'll be posting videos every Tuesday at noon. Thanks a lot. Take care.